welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the Congressional Medal of Honor. Hey everyone, welcome to Tales of Honor Podcast, a podcast dedicated to telling the true stories of the recipients of the Medal of Honor. And man, for those who don't know, I do pre-record a lot of these episodes in bulk. So really, whenever I have time to knock out a few, is usually what I do. And man, is it a hot one today? The humidity is out and is taking its toll. I lost probably about 3 pounds just today in sweat. So I'm going to do my best to get through all of this without melting into my seat. And I hope that wherever you are, you're staying nice and cool. Today's episode, it's episode 12. And we're going to go to the Korean War. And I want to give a big thank you to DesignCake Studios for making this episode possible. And long story short, you know, they're a small creative design company, and they really do have some fantastic talent. Have you ever taken a look at a logo or maybe a web advertisement or a TV spot, and you thought to yourself, why can't I make something look that good with Microsoft Paint? Well, I mean, you kind of answered the question yourself. So maybe it's time you let the professionals do their thing. It's really worth every penny to have somebody who knows what they're doing design something for you, whether it's a website, a logo, or business cards. Honestly, DesignCake Studios, that's where I went for my business logo and business cards for both of my businesses. And I get tons of compliments on just the business cards alone. Business cards are a great way to make a lasting impression for somebody that you are trying to win over. So if you need some branding or maybe some new branding or rebranding, go to DesignCakeStudios.com. And when you get a hold of them, let them know that you heard about them here on the podcast. And simply, that lets them know where their advertising is going. It lets me know that you're going to be getting together with a quality company. And what do you get out of it? You're going to get a free consultation from them. Simple as that. DesignCake Studios, fresh thinking made bold. And now, a tale of honor. Frank N. Mitchell was born on the 18th of August, 1921, in Indian Gap, Texas. He went to and graduated from Roaring Springs High School in 1938, and 1 year later, Mitchell enlisted in the U.S. Marine Corps. During World War II, Mitchell served aboard the USS Enterprise, an aircraft carrier at Wake Island, as well as service in the Marshall Islands, as well as attachment to Fleet Marine Force Pacific, as a rifle and pistol team member, and occupation duty in China. Following World War II, Mitchell was commissioned as a second lieutenant and went on to attend Colorado College, Southwestern University, and North Texas Agricultural and Mechanical College under the Navy V-12 program. Now, this program was designed to educate commissioned officers in specific fields that may or may not have any formal education. By the time the Korean War had started, Mitchell had been promoted to first lieutenant and was with Company A, 1st Battalion of the 7th Marines. His actions on the 26th of November 1950 would be the reason his wife and daughter received his Medal of Honor on the 6th of August 1952. The citation reads, "For conspicuous gallantry and intrepidity at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty as leader of a rifle platoon of Company A in action against enemy aggressor forces. Leading his platoon in point position during a patrol by his company through a thickly wooded and snow-covered area in the vicinity of Hassan Ni, First Lieutenant Mitchell acted immediately when the enemy suddenly opened fire at point-blank range, pinning down his forward elements and inflicting numerous casualties in his ranks. Boldly dashing to the front under blistering fire from automatic weapons and small arms, he seized an automatic rifle from one of the wounded men and effectively trained it against the attackers, and when his ammunition was expended, picked up and hurled grenades with deadly accuracy, at the same time directing and encouraging his men in driving the outnumbering enemy from his position. Maneuvering to set up a defense when the enemy furiously counterattacked to the front and left flank, First Lieutenant Mitchell, despite wounds sustained early in the action, reorganized his platoon under the devastating fire and spearheaded a fierce hand-to-hand struggle to repulse the onslaught. Asking for volunteers to assist in searching for and evacuating the wounded, he personally led a party of litter bearers through the hostile lines in growing darkness and, although suffering intense pain from multiple wounds, stormed ahead and waged a single-handed battle against the enemy, successfully covering the withdrawal of his men before he was fatally struck down by a burst of small arms fire. Stout-hearted and indomitable in the face of tremendous odds, First Lieutenant Mitchell, by his fortitude, great personal valor, and extraordinary heroism, saved the lives of several Marines and inflicted heavy casualties among the aggressors. His unyielding courage throughout reflects the highest credit upon himself and the U.S. Naval Service. He gallantly gave his life for his country. Frank N. Mitchell's selfless sacrifice made him one of 146 Medal of Honor recipients from the Korean War. And that was a Tale of Honor. Thank you so much for listening to Tales of Honor podcast, and I know you like this podcast, so because you do, I know you're going to leave us a nice review on iTunes or wherever you're listening to this episode. Give us a good rating as well, too, over on iTunes or wherever you're listening, and head over to our Facebook and leave us a review there as well. And be sure to tell a friend. Tell your family. These are short. Nobody has an excuse that they can't listen to a short episode, letting them know why we have the freedoms we do today. You can see more information about the show over on Facebook, Instagram, and thebeardeddetailer.com/TOH podcast. If you have any questions or comments, hey, just send them over. You can send them to talesofhonorpodcast@gmail.com. And until next time, I'm Christoph Ambrosch. Thanks for listening.